Good morning. This is Ariana Newcomer, Dove Oracle Priestess, and this is Wisdom Wednesdays. And my topic today is reclaiming the sacred dark. We were doing a process yesterday in the Wise Women Immersion, my group program. We do a journey to the dark goddess. And the reason we do that is to reclaim this aspect of the dark as sacred, as helpful, as nourishing, and so that we can reclaim our own wholeness. As human beings, we have all kinds of aspects. There's my grandfather clock in the background is giving us the 9 a.m. chimes. So it's really important as a spiritual being to, I believe, give up this idea that we can only focus on the light. We have to always be looking upward. We have to always look for the light. Everything that's dark is bad. We have to avoid everything that's low vibration or low frequency. I can't have any negative emotions, or I'm not going to be able to manifest what I want, etc. I'm sorry. We are here to be human. We're here to be fully human. Our purpose on the planet is not just to ascend and get off the planet. Our purpose is to be fully human and divine at the same time. And that means balancing. It means balancing light with dark. You're all familiar with the yin-yang symbol, where half is black and half is white, and there's a dot of white in the black, and there's a dot of black in the white. This is ancient wisdom too. And it's really, really valuable for us to remember. One of the things that happens when we get this sort of focus on the light and on up all the time is that we tend to come out of our lower chakras. If you're familiar with the chakra system, it is a system of energy centers in our bodies that relate to different aspects. And so the lower chakras, our culture kind of says it's not good to go there. Many religions teach us to not bring our awareness and bring our energies fully alive down there, because we could get into trouble, and the body is sinful, and it's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's another way of stuffing down the shadow. And I've talked about that in Wisdom Wednesdays before, how important it is for us to acknowledge and own our own shadow. And so that we can then do that as the collective, as a humanity. So our collective shadow is up big time for us to really see and heal. Right now, we can't do that if we're ignoring it, if we're saying it's all bad and wrong and we shouldn't even look at it. We can't heal it. So the journey to the dark goddess is a very important piece of recovering the divine feminine as whole also, because we can have the idea of the divine feminine as nurturing and protective and the giver of life and all these warm and fuzzy things. And the feminine can also be fierce and needs to be fierce. And those of you who've been parents know that fierce aspect that comes up inside us when we need to protect our children from something. It's that balance. It's part of the balance. And one of the things that my guides have told me recently is it's important for us to reclaim our ability to tune into the deep earth frequencies. These are low frequencies, and they're down in the earth in the dark, right? And if we don't go into the dark, then we can't reclaim those aspects of ourselves that need to become alive again. They need to be conscious. They need to be in our conscious awareness. They need to be treated with love and brought into wholeness, into alignment with us, because otherwise those aspects do become the things that get us into trouble. They really only get us into trouble when we're not being conscious and aware. And I'm not talking about reclaiming the dark in the sense of just being angry and splatting your anger all over everybody indiscriminately. I'm talking about bringing it into conscious awareness so that we can use it appropriately. Anger is a valuable emotion. It's a pointer, for one thing. It points us to something that needs to be addressed and needs to be handled. And it's also a motivator. It gets us moving and gets us doing and going. So some of the dark goddesses, the one that may be most familiar to you is Kali from the Hindu tradition. And Kali is usually depicted as wearing either a necklace or a belt of skulls, standing on the top of a demon in male form, having just cut off his head. So she's holding a bloody sword, wearing all these skulls. And she is considered by some, in some ways, the goddess of death. She's also the goddess of destruction, but she's also a goddess of creation. So she is a place that we want to go and connect with and consider as an aspect of ourselves when things are going off the rails in our lives. Okay, let me go in, let me consult with the dark and find out what it is that needs to go so that something new can be born. She's also considered the mother of the world. So sometimes things have to be torn down in order for the new to be built. This is another really important aspect of the sacred dark. And here in the Northern Hemisphere, we are coming up to the longest night, the solstice here. And I have certainly been sleeping a lot more. So have my cats. My cats spend most of their day sleeping right now. I'm tending to sleep late. I've been reading novels. And what I know about that is that something is about to shift and change for me. And my unconscious is working while I'm sleeping, while I'm reading Harry Potter books over again. Something is moving and shifting, and I need to allow myself that time to go into the quiet, to go into the dark. Remember, seeds germinate in the dark. And there's a meme that I've posted once in a while that says, I'm going to forget. Sometimes when you may feel that you're in the dark, but the truth is you've been planted. Something like that. We need these times to go within, to go down, to do kind of a descent of Persephone. As it were, Persephone is the daughter of Demeter, the Greek goddess who was the goddess of the harvest, of nurturing and care. And when Persephone was taken by the god of the underworld down into the underworld to be his wife, the story goes that Demeter was so distraught that she created winter. And so the Hades, the lord of the underworld, allowed Persephone to come back to her mother for half the year. So that was a story that came to explain why we have winter and why we have spring and summer. But that descent to Persephone can be an incredibly, incredibly valuable time. So I encourage you all at this time, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, as we are coming up to this longest night, this is a perfect time of year for us to be doing that descent, to allow ourselves to go into the sacred dark, to reclaim those aspects of the quote unquote dark that we've thought of as negative and turn them into allies and bring them into alignment with the rest of ourselves and our chakra systems. So reconnecting with and activating our first chakra so that we can feel more safe, connected, and abundant. Reconnecting with our second chakra of sexuality, sensuality, and creativity so that we can be more creative. And our third chakra of personal power and will. And when we connect with this chakra more deeply, we can come into a place of using our own power with integrity instead of using it to try and control others or control ourselves. And then balancing those with all the other chakras. It's really all about balance. And reclaiming our ability to connect with those deep earth frequencies actually allows us to connect with the very high frequencies as well. So if we're always thinking about raising our vibration and going up to the light, we've lost out on that balancing aspect of the down, the dark, and the deep. Very, very important for us to reclaim our depth, our fierceness. These times are calling us all to be fierce, and fierce with our love, and fierce with our healing. So I invite you to explore the dark goddesses, do some Googling, look them up, find out what their positive aspects are, and start reconnecting with the sacred dark. Allow yourself to go down into that descent of Persephone, find the gifts, the great gifts that are there for you, and so you can bring them back into alignment and into your life and become a more whole, alive, and vibrant human being, both a human and a divine being. As we connect those two, then we become all that we are. And I am still running the special for private sessions with me for only $97. They're normally $197 for an hour. These are online sessions over Zoom, and I will bring in information from Spirit for you. If you would like to do a journey to the Dark Goddess, I would be happy to do that with you. So if you put a comment, yes, I'd like a session, beneath here, I will contact you with the information about how to do that. Have fun in the dark.